Good morning, everyone. Here's your weather hazard briefing for Thursday, May 19th. And as expected, it's going to be very windy today, colder across the board, and some showers around. Not expecting any thunder today, but some showers over the highlands for sure. But not much moisture is going to fall, it looks like, at this point. Like I said, those high winds will last into this evening, and we will see some pockets of blowing dust. Would not be surprised as some of those areas that have been plowed seeing very low visibilities for later on today across portions of eastern and central Idaho. It remains much colder through Friday. We're talking 10 to 15 degrees below average versus around 10 degrees above average like we've seen the past few days. It still looks dry for the Magic Valley with this storm and the storms coming in for the weekend. Still, only a few showers across the South Hills and along and east of the I-15 corridor with any event coming through the weekend. Like we said, it remains cool, although it will be warming up slightly over the weekend, remaining below average through the weekend with light rain and snow showers across the area. It does look like as high pressure establishes over the western and southwestern U.S. next week, we'll still see a few showers and storms, but much warmer weather returns to central and eastern Idaho. You can see here on the satellite this morning, we do have quite a bit of cloud covering moving through. Now, you'll notice it looks kind of wavy on the satellite loop. This is indicative of very strong winds, especially aloft. This is, we call these mountain wave clouds. It looks like ripples along in the stream there. This is something we'll see on the satellite, and it's indicative of the strong winds we're expecting across the region today. And we've highlighted the Snake Plain, Magic Valley, South Hills, and southeastern highlands for some higher impacts, and this has to do with the wind and the potential blowing dust. Also, if you've got one of these larger vehicles driving, especially that's doesn't have a lot of weight, some of these strong crosswinds will be an issue for you today. Also, pretty breezy up across Lemhi County with showers over much of central and eastern Idaho. For tomorrow, we've highlighted the Snake Plain for some higher impacts simply because that's a northeast wind event for American Falls Reservoir. Otherwise, showers and a few storms. It does, again, look like the Magicville will be dry. Same on Saturday. We may see a shower or storm over portions of the Snake Plain, but again, most of this will be in the highlands for Saturday. It looks like the storm coming in Saturday and Sunday is going to be a little stronger, a little deeper. The models and some of the probability forecasts are trending that direction. So there will be moisture falling. It's still going to be in the light side and mainly for the central mountains for Sunday, but expect showers and storms pretty much everywhere. Minimal activity, though, again, for the Snake Plain and Magic Valley. And we start to see that pattern shifting northward with high pressure slowly building. So we're starting to remove some showers from a few places like the Snake Plain, Magic Valley, the South Hills, also up around Sun Valley as well. For today and tomorrow, we'll look at how the weather pattern is shaping up. This is an example of what it would look like if you were looking at radar, seeing where showers and storms will form. We go in through the morning hours. We have activity over the eastern highlands, the South Hills, the southeast highlands, increasing across portions of the central mountains. This is where we might see that increase during the day. Rexburg, Idaho Falls to Pocatello. Most of it's going to stay in the highlands. We get some instability showers for later on today. We're not expecting any thunder, although this time of year we could see a lightning strike or two. It's not necessarily a zero chance of that, but it's very, very low. Going into tonight and tomorrow, we start to see things dying off a little bit overnight, but you can see with moisture up along the Montana border into Lemhi County, some showers continuing. As we go into tomorrow, there could be a little better chance across the Snake Plain, but again, we're expecting most of the activity to remain out of the lower elevations. And then as we go into tomorrow, showers continue. If we see thunderstorms, it'll be over across portions of the central mountains and the eastern highlands for tomorrow, but those would be isolated thunderstorms moving through the area. So now let's go back and look at how the forecast is going to shape up temperature and wind-wise for today. Here are those winds this morning. Some of these gusts, especially as we get after sunrise, we're seeing some gusts in excess of 40 miles per hour. Some pretty high gusts across the high peaks of the central mountains up towards the Mount Bora area, also across the mountains surrounding the Wood River Valley. Those will be where the strongest winds are. They pick up again this afternoon, and some of these gusts 45 to 50, maybe a little bit above 50 miles per hour, in a few spots 55 miles per hour. Very strong winds, and those stronger winds will start shifting south as we see the low that is moving in across the area in the next 24 hours, starting to settle across the Montana border into portions of central in eastern Idaho. And for tonight, we'll see those northerly winds shifting, and as they go northerly, they weaken. The strongest winds will be from the Magic Valley, Treasure Valley south into the South Hills and portions of the Southeast Highlands. Now, we've given you what we think the most likely forecast will be for today. Now, looking at those wind gusts, we might be able to get a little bit of our idea where we could actually see the forecast being a little bit higher than we have right now. This is the potential of wind gusts over 45 miles per hour, and you can see very high probabilities, 80, 90% plus over a good chunk of central and eastern Idaho. If we look at gusts over 55 miles per hour, once you get to about 58 miles per hour, which is entailed here, it could be included in this graphic, that's when we start to see high wind potential, high wind warning thresholds being met. Not much across the Snake Plain, but you can see some higher probabilities over towards the Magic Valley, over into the Camas Prairie. Also, the higher elevations across portions of the Central Mountains, and certainly the South Hills, the Southeast Highland, the benches, we could easily see a few gusts over 55 miles per hour, over 58 miles per hour. I don't think we'll see much above 60 miles per hour, but it can't be ruled out, especially where we get some terrain influence, and that could be places around Pocatello, down towards the Yale Road exit on I-84. Anywhere you can get some terrain influencing winds out of the west, you might see some locally higher gusts during this particular event today across the board. Now, we'll continue onward. Temperature-wise, we talked about it being below normal in the 50s this afternoon only, and some places may have actually reached their highs for today. We'll have to keep a trend on that, but it's definitely going to be a lot colder than it has been the past several days. 30s and 40s in the mountains. One of the things we haven't really touched on the past couple of days, and now that we're getting past the winds, is the very cold temperatures the next couple of mornings. We're going to have frost and freeze conditions across much of the area in the lower elevations of the Snake Plain and Magic Valley. Some places pushing down to around 30 degrees in the lowest elevations. Teens and 20s once you get up into the high country. Tomorrow, we talked about those northerly winds. Northerly winds only gusting around 20 to 25, 30 to 35 across the Arco Desert. But for American Falls Reservoir, these northeast wind events, it doesn't take a lot of wind for the water to blow all the way across the lake and cause some very high waves. So certainly an issue there for tomorrow. That's why we're showing you the winds for tomorrow. They're definitely not as strong as today, though, for sure. As we go through the period tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures not too far off from where they are today, maybe a couple of degrees warmer across the board. I still think we're going to see very few, if any, locations get above 60 for highs tomorrow afternoon. Temperature Saturday morning is still pretty chilly. We're going to warm it up a couple of degrees, although you get into the Arco Desert, Upper Snake Plain, it will be dropping into mid to upper 20s, mid-30s for the Magic Valley, but 20s and 30s, even some teens for the higher elevations across the Central Mountains for Saturday morning. Saturday, we continue the warm-up across the region. We'll start to see some 60s in the lower elevations. Sunday, a couple degrees warmer with that low remaining over us, the little deeper storm coming in for Saturday and Sunday. That's why the warm-up is not as great as we thought it would be the past couple of days. But going into the early part of next week, we'll start to see 60s and 70s, and by the middle next week, it looks like we're going to see some 70s and 80s once again across the lower elevation. So again, we've got a pretty windy day ahead. Expect some blowing dust. If you got a larger vehicle, expect some strong crosswinds. Might make it a little of a treacherous drive later on today. It's going to remain cold, 10 to 15 degrees below average through tomorrow. Showers mainly for the mountains, and that trend continues into the weekend, although it will be warming up slightly. It still keeps us below average, but the warmer weather does return by next week. So have a great day, and please stay safe out there, everyone.